Yes, good afternoon, scholars. I am Dr. Tasneem Ahmed, working as an assistant professor in Department of Computer Application, Integral University. I have done PhD in 2016, and my research area is image processing, digital image processing. So today I will teach you the last unit of this research methodology, which one is computer applications in research, how computer is useful in research, and how we use computers in research, and what type of tools are useful in research, and how we can make or we can do effective research by using these computers uh, tools or applications or softwares. So now I will share my PPT from which I will teach you. So this is my PPT. So you can note down my email address from here. If you have any query or any doubt, so you can contact me by email. You can write me email and you can ask your queries and all. So the first thing is that I will discuss introduction of computer in reference to the research, why computers are useful in research, and what are the computer applications in research, and some key terminology of computer research which are used, computer applications which are used in research, and how computer plays an important role in scientific research, and tools and applications which are used in research process. So as we know that computer is assisted to solve the problems faced by the mankind since the time of the computer invention, and the size of the computer, as we know, that drastically reduced from that of a room size to the human palm. We are having a very small size computers nowadays, and when computer comes in our mind, so we think that a machine which will do some calculations, automatic calculations will be there, and some computation work will be there. But nowadays computers are used for vast variety of jobs with tremendous speed and efficiency. So we know that if we are going to do some work, a manual work on papers, then it will take a lot of time. And if we will do that work by using the computers, then it will take very less time, and accurate and efficient results will be retrieved from the computers. So, and various programs and applications are there which can be used for the purpose of computing or the research process. And next is why computers, why we use computers. This is a very big question, very important questions, why we use computers. As we know that the importance of computers in scientific research is exceptionally high, and the use of a computer can help scientific research immensely and is an almost invaluable tool. There are many reasons why computers are so important in scientific research, and here are some of the main reasons are written on screen. First one is speed. As we know that computers can process numbers and information in a very short time, so researchers can process and analyze data very quickly. So you are having a huge volume of data or a multiple variety of data, but by using the computers you can analyze and you can process that data very quickly. uh, and it saves a lot of time when we conduct some research or calculations, whatever calculations. If there are some complex calculations are there which can take a lot of time, so we, by using the computers, we can solve those, we can perform those calculations within a minute or or in a few seconds. And next one is accuracy of the computer. It is very incredible. And accuracy is very much important in scientific research, because if we are going to do some research, then the accuracy of that work which we are doing or the calculations we are doing is very important. Wrong calculations could result in entire research or project being filled with incorrect informations. If we are having some wrong results, then it will give a like all these. If we are having a wrong results, then it will give a incorrect information. The information will not be correct there, and it may mislead to us if we are having a wrong results. So accuracy is very high with the computers when we use computers. Another one is organization. The organizations of information, the organization of data. And we know that we can store millions of pages of informations by using simple folders, word processors, and computer programs. So millions of pages can be stored in a computer simply. We know that when we are going to do research, so we have to search, we have to do the literature review. For that, we have to download multiple papers related to that particular area of interest. Sorry. And we can store millions of files in our computer, and we those files could be in a PDF format or a Word format. Or we know that when we are if we are doing research in computer science or in electrical, electronics, or mechanicals, in engineering fields, if we are doing, then we have to do some programming also. So we have to write the computer programs. Those line of code we can also save in our computer. And that's why computer is more productive and safer than using a paper filing system, because in paper filing system anything can be misplaced. We know that paper can be misplaced, so we will lose the informations, but in computers we can keep those informations in our system, or for a backup we can store those information in hard drive or pen drive or CD drive or in CD. So we can keep at a multiple devices, so then loss of information will be less. And any time after 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, 10 years, we can easily retrieve that information from that particular folder or the drive. Then next one is consistency. We know that computer cannot make mistakes through tiredness or lack of concentration like human beings. So if we are doing so much of work, then we got tired, and after that we lose our concentration, and due to the lack of concentration we can make some silly mistakes. So but this is not happen with computers. uh, these characteristics makes it extremely important in scientific research, because when we are doing a research, we need a high processing. For that, speed is very important. We need accurate results. Accuracy is important. We need to manage our information. We have to organize our information. The organization is important. And consistency, we need consistency when we are working with the computers and we are doing some works. We need consistency in that work, so consistency is important. So all these characteristics are very important when we are doing some scientific research. And why these technologies are important? Because we know that if we have a good computer skills, then we can easily solve a complicated task by doing a programming, or by writing a, if we have done some good work and then we have to represent it, then we have to make a report, we have to make a PowerPoint presentations for that. So or we sometimes like we have to show those presentations in some animations way. So if we are having that kind of skills, those are very important. So and if we are have these type of skills, then our works becomes easier, and we can show our work in a best possible manner, and in a best possible manner. Then some key terms are there in computer applications like word processing programs, database programs, spreadsheet programs, desktop publishing programs, graphics and design programs, presentation softwares are there, web page editors, hypertext markup language which is used to develop the web pages, and some communication programs. When we used to get connect from one computer to other computer, then communication programs are useful there. So word processing programs, the first one is word processing programs which are used to create documents in a textual form, or in a textual form which is basically a text. To arrange that text we required word processing programs, and by using these word processing programs we can do some following works, like to, if we wants to write a letters, then we can write a letter in a word processing programs. We wants to make a research papers or a reports, then we can make it. Or if we are looking to make a business plans, these type of things we can do. We can create contacts in word processing, and we can record meeting minutes if some meetings is there. So for recording the minutes of the meetings, we can use word processing softwares. And for some some announcement, if we wants to create some announcement, so we can easily make on word processor, and then we can publish it on a forum that this type of announcement is there, we are conducting such type of programs, or we are looking for such type of programs. So these type of works can be done using word processing programs. Then database programs. These programs are used to collect related data which can be stored, searched, printed as we need. And so these data programs are used for the following purposes, like to maintain the customer list or mass mailing. So these are actually for business purpose, but how we can use these database programs in a research? Suppose if we are working on some social science data, and there we are having a we wants to we wants to store the data of the population with their name, with their age, with their address, with their gender information. So we can maintain this kind of list. And suppose if we wants to conduct a survey, we want to conduct a survey. So there we need some, and we wants to send that survey which you have created to the persons by using the mailing system. So you can do the mass mailing by using these database programs. You can store the data, you can retrieve that data, you can search the information, that data. So for storing information about the multiple data entries, you can use database programs. Another one is spreadsheet programs. These programs are used to organize, calculate, and analyze numerical data. If we are having some numerical data, so we can use spreadsheets to organize or to calculate or to analyze these type of data, which are very useful to develop a budget, to analyze financial performances, or to schedule the projects, to manage business assets. Something like this we can do by using the spreadsheet programs like MS Excel. We can do these kinds of work on numerical data. Then next one is desktop publishing programs, which are used to design and produce professional printed materials. So like in research also you require these type of programs when you are making, suppose you have make some prototype and you wants to print it. So you can and you wants to have some professional, you wants to give a professional touch to that printed materials. So you can use these desktop publishing programs. Another one is presentation software, like PowerPoint presentation, which I have used to give this presentation. So you can make your you can make the slides there for and you can, for multimedia presentations also, you can create the slides, and these are used to these are used to prepare verbal and visual copy of the meetings, to present ideas interactively with clients who are located in other cities or countries via the internet. So the thing I'm doing with you, that you people are sitting in different cities or places, or might be most of you are in Lucknow, so you are in different places. So if I have to I'm taking your class and I have to present my material to you, so I'm using this presentation software. I have made some slides and I'm showing these slides via this online platform, and you all are able to see this. So you know that what I am presenting, and on which topic I am giving the I'm teaching you, so you know this. So all these can be done with these presentation softwares. Then web page editors, if you are from computer science background, so you know well this that what is web page editor. So you can you can create a web pages using these web page editors by using the language which is called as hypertext markup language. So this language is used to develop the web pages. So you can do HTML coding in web editor, web page editors programs. Then last one is communication programs. The communication programs are the software applications which are used to establish communication between your computer and other computers. These are like your email. By via email you can communicate with some people, teleconferencing or video conferencing. One platform we are using this YouTube platform for live streaming, and other program is being used for this live streaming purpose. So here I am giving a lecture and you all are able to see this. So for this kind of purpose, these communication programs can be used. Then now we comes to this computer in process research. In research process, how these computer applications or computers are helpful in research process. As we know that research process consists of series of actions or steps necessary to effectively carry out research and the desired sequencing of these steps. So research process consists of series of actions or steps which are necessary to effectively carry out research and the sequencing of these steps. So when we start research, so we do step by step we used to move in this, and some steps are written here on the screen. You can see the first one is formulating the research problem. When you enter in PhD, right, so first task is to formulate the research problem. On which research problem you are going to pursue your PhD, first step you have to formulate this. We know that if we talk about computer science or electrical engineering or electronics engineering, so these are the names, electrical engineering, computer science, or these, but many fields are there in electronics also. You will be, if you are in electronics, so you will be doing the research. Someone is doing the research on microwave signals, someone is doing the research on the image processing, or someone is doing the research on circuits. So multiple fields are there in computer science also. If someone is doing the research on software engineering, someone is doing the research on cyber security, someone is doing the research on information security, someone is doing on machine learning or artificial intelligence. So first one is you have to formulate your research problem and on which area of origin you are going to work, which will be your research theme, your research topic. So first you have to formulate this, and for that, to formulate that, you will be using the computer, you will be using the internet to search the related papers. Suppose you want to pursue in machine learning or artificial intelligence, then you will be searching the papers on these two topics, on artificial intelligence and machine learning. Then you will see what type of work has been done and how people are doing this. In machine learning, if you are going to talk that there are some techniques are there, supervised or unsupervised learnings are there. So you will be first you will be reading key what is supervised or unsupervised. Then you will be you will think key how that what type of your problem and what type of data you will take, and then you will formulate your research problem. For that you need a computer. So you will be searching the related papers on the internet to formulate your research problem. Then and for that you will be doing the literature survey. And after doing this literature survey, after some times you will be facing your first RDC. So there you will go, and the examiner or the RDC committee will ask you what you have done in this 4 month or 5 month. Have you done some work, or you just completed your research work, your course work? So if you have done some literature survey, you will be saying, so yes, I have read this number of papers and I have done some survey on this type of topics. So for that, sometimes it is happen, if you are saying that I have read 80 papers or 70 papers, then they will ask you that please show us your papers, which one you have read, which you have preferred. So normal procedure is that you will be taking the printout of 80 papers and you will show. So they don't have that much of time. They will be seeing your they are going to see your 80 papers. So the better way is, I will show you in a next PPT, that you can make a table of your literature review like this to show to the to the RDC committee or to the external examiner or to your supervisor that you have read this paper. This is my method actually. I make a table, and then first column is a reference, means the name of the author, the publishing year, and the title of the paper. These three informations are in first column. Then second one is data use. Which type of data is used for this work, to do this? Then techniques. Which type of techniques are used? Whether it is a supervised technique or a unsupervised technique. And the conclusion of that paper. So I'll be, after reading that paper, we try to make a conclusion in 1 or 2 line or 3 or 4 line. We don't give a lengthy explanation there. We just try to conclude that particular paper in 5 to 6 line or 3 to 4 lines in a minimum or in a concise way, in a minimum words. So this is the best way, which I prefer. You can this is a sample slide, so you can put 2 or 3 papers in a single slide, or then you can show your 50, 60 or 80 papers in your slides. So yes sir, I have preferred these papers, I have read these papers, and after doing this literature survey, you will be developing the hypothesis of your research. You will be finding the research gap in that particular research problem on which you are going to pursue your PhD, or the research you are going to carry out during your PhD. So you will be developing your hypothesis that, and you will be finding, then after doing this type of literature survey, you will be able to find the research gap, that these are the research gaps, and to fulfill these research gaps, you will be proposing some objectives there, and you will be after developing your hypothesis, you will be preparing the research design and will determine the sample design. So how you will prepare your research design, this is very important. So I will show you one example that I used to create this flow chart, the design. This is a sample one. This is a data flow diagram of one of my paper, which is published in 2016. So just for sample I have taken this flowchart. So you can make a flowchart, or we can say a framework, that these will be your data. You will be doing some pre-processing on that data, then you will do this, then you will do this, and finally you will get this. So you can prepare your research design that will clearly represent your represent your idea, that how you are going to conduct your research. Here this flow chart is for a particular paper. So similar kind of you can make for your PhD. You will be doing this task in here, and you will be doing this task here, and you will later you will combine all these things and you will conclude this thing. So this is up to you and up to your research or up to your research area, that. But my suggestion is this: you just prepare your research design. That will very helpful. The next one is collecting the data. Next one is collecting the data. You will be collecting some data, you will be conducting some surveys, online survey you are going to conduct, or if you are you will be collecting your data from internet, so you will be storing on the computers. Then after collecting the data, so you will be developing some algorithm or some code or some design of your your research or a research problem. Then the important part is execution. Execution is very important. The work you are doing in your PhD is a project, so that's why I have written here execution of the project. So you will be executing the projects, whatever you have done, whatever you have done during literature survey, or you have done during data collections, then you will be executing those things. After the execution, suppose here this is the data collections, doing some initial processing and all these things, and after doing this, here this genetic algorithm GA is being applied here. So this is the execution of this. So here we have done the data collection and initial pre-processing and all these things. We will be removing the noise from the data, or we will be doing some filtering filtering of the data. Or here you can see the extrapolation is being applied here. So whatever you are doing, so these are your initial steps, but this part is your executions. You will be going to execute your project. So after this execution, you will get some results, and those results you have to analyze, this analysis of data. Or after that, you will be testing your hypothesis. Then you will be generalizing your results, and will be doing the interpretation of your results, whether you have got some useful or meaningful results or not. And then after that, you will be preparing the report or the presentation of those results. Report or the research papers or the thesis you will be doing after that. So this is the series of sequence, or you can say the steps which you used to follow in your research process. You have to formulate the research problems, you will be doing the literature survey, then you will be developing the hypothesis, preparing the research design, then determining your sample design, collecting the data for your work, and then executing your work. After that, you will be doing some analysis on that data, doing the hypothesis testing, and then generalization and interpretations. And finally, you will be going to prepare the report or the presentation of those results. And sometimes for if your research you are using some mathematical formulations, so all these you can because when you are finished, you have finished your work, so you have to make the presentations or the report. So for that, if you are using some mathematical equations, so you can type all these equations using word processor software. This is available in Microsoft Word, or you can install uh, math type. You can install math type, which is integrated with Microsoft Word. So easily you can type these. All the symbols are presented there. You are seeing these symbols. All symbols are there, and you can easily type the complicated equations or the simple equations, whatever it is. If some mathematical things are involved there, so easily you can type. So then your things will become easy. Otherwise you will be thinking how I have to show these equations. I will write on the paper, then I will scan this, and then will import that image in PPT slide and will show this equation. You can do all these things. Then next one is phases of research process. 5 major phases are there of research process. The first one is role of computers in conceptual phase. This conceptual phase, these 5 phases are all related to these steps. I'll be talking these 5 phases in reference to these steps. The conceptual phase. This conceptual phase consists of formulation of research problem, extensive literature survey, theoretical framework, and developing the hypothesis. And how you will be using these computers in extensive literature survey or literature review? By searching the literatures, for your related problems, and for your bibliographic reference, which you can store in some electronic database which are available on internet. So you can search the papers, you can store those papers in a electronic database for your bibliographic reference, because when you will be going to make a synopsis or a report on by including those papers, so you have to use and you have to show those papers in bibliography. So you can create your bibliographic reference by using some electronic database, which can be used for storing relevant published articles to the retrieved whenever needed. Like, electronic database are very useful. I will in tomorrow class, I will show you one very good electronic database, that is Mendeley. I will show you this, I will show you the practical aspect of that, how you can use it for your research. You will be creating an account in that database, and whatever you are searching, if you are adding in that database, and sometimes if you are not, if your laptop is not with you or your system is not with you, you are somewhere else, and you have to access that reference database, the bibliographic reference database you want to access, you can easily log in on that Mendeley, and all the papers will be available to you. It is actually we can say that because it is on World Wide Web, so you can access everywhere and you can use it where you want to use. And the advantage over searching the literatures, you can search in the form of books, journals, and other newsletters at the libraries, which consume considerable amount of time and effort. So in Mendeley also, you can search the books, the journals, the news articles there, the newsletters there in Mendeley also. It has a very big database, so you can search the papers which are relevant to your field, and then you can store in your database for your reference. The next one is role of computers in design and planning phase. This phase consists of research, design, preparation, and determining sample design. Design and planning phase also consists of population, research variables, sampling plan, reviewing research plan, and pilot study. And computer also plays an important role for sample size calculations, like several softwares are available to calculate the sample size required for a proposed study. Standard deviation of the data from the pilot study is required for the sample size calculation. And then next one is role of computers in data collection phase. The data obtained from the subjects are stored in computers in the form of Word files or Excel spreadsheets or any statistical software data file. It has the advantage of making necessary corrections or editing the whole layout if required. And because if you are having data in such type of file format, then it is easy to make the changes, otherwise it is impossible or very time consuming in case of writing in papers. If you have wrote in something papers and then you have to make a corrections, that is very impossible kind of task. So in computers, generally you are having a data, suppose you are having in a Word file format or a Excel spreadsheet format, so you can easily make the corrections or do the editing in those. Computers help in data entry, data editing, data management, including some follow-up actions. And computer also allow for greater flexibility in recording the data while they are collected, as well as greater ease during the analysis of these data. So computers are helpful in data entry, data editing, data management, including some follow-up actions. And it also allows for greater flexibility in recording the data while they are collected, as well as greater ease during the analysis of these data. And some of the examples are WordPad, SPSS, data editor, word processors, etc. One more term comes this data collection phase is data exposition. What is data exposition? Many researchers are very curious about seeing the data, what they look like, how they are distributed, etc. You can also examine different dimensions of variables or plot them in various charts using a statistical applications. Like you wants to see the data, how they look like, how the data is distributed. If you recently you have studied this statistical unit in this research methodology, so might be you are familiar with this distributions, data probability distributions. So you can see the distribution of your data, and you can plot the data by using some distribution function, and you can see the behavior of the data with the help of its scale parameter or the location parameters, and then you can analyze the data. So this type of things are also there, which is known as data exposition. Then next one is Role of computers in data analysis. So you can do the analysis of the data, you can do the hypothesis testing in this phase, generalization and interpretation. Data analysis phase mainly consists of statistical analysis of the data and interpretation of results. So this phase mainly consists of statistical analysis of your data and interpretation of your data, of your results. The results you have retrieved or the data you analyzed, so you can easily interpret it, all these data. Software like SPSS and spreadsheets are widely used for this type of work. They can be like calculating the sample size for a proposed study, hypothesis testing and calculation the power of the study. Computers are useful not only for statistical analysis but also to monitor the accuracy and completeness of data as they are collected. As these softwares can display the results in graphical chart or graph form. So computers are useful not only for statistical analysis but also to monitor the accuracy and completeness of the data as they have been collected. And these type of softwares, SPSS and this spreadsheets, also used to display the results in graphical chart or graph form, so that easily we can interpret our data. Then the last one is role of computers in research publication phase. So you know that after doing your research or after doing the analysis of after doing the interpretation of your results, you will be going to write a research paper or a report or going to make a presentation of the results. Those are known as formal write-up of conclusions you have reached. It comes under research publication phase. Research article, research papers, research theses or dissertations all are typed in word processing software and converted to portable data format, which is your PDF format, and stored and published in the World Wide Web. So you will be making those research article, research papers, thesis you will be making by, or dissertation you will be making by using the word processing software. Then you will be converting those that into the PDF format, and then you will be storing or publishing on internet, World Wide Web. Even you can prepare your document using online word processing softwares and can store, edit, access it from anywhere using internet. So for this editing type of works, you can also use online word processing softwares. So these are the 5 major phases of research process, which include these series of action or the steps. So if you have to show the literature survey, you can follow this method. Otherwise, if you have any other better idea than this, you can use that. So because this used to ask that how you will justify that you have read 70 or 80 papers. So how you will justify in a minute or in a 2 minutes time. So this is one of my suggestions for all of you. So you can make this type of table, or you can do the changes as per your requirement, as per your research, or you can make some better presentation like this to show your literature review or literature survey. Both are similar terms. Then next one is role of computers in scientific research. As we know that there are various computer applications used in scientific research. Some of the most important applications which are used in scientific research are data storage, data analysis, scientific simulations, instrumentation control, and knowledge sharing through internet. So data storage, you can store data in SPSS data file format or Lotus spreadsheet file format. Excel spreadsheet is also there, or ASCII DOS text file format, etc. Because every experiment in any of the natural sciences generates a lot of data that needs to be stored and analyzed to drive important conclusions. Suppose you are having a CCTV camera at your home or your home at your office. So that camera is 24 into 7, it is on, it is capturing the data of each and every minute of or a second. So that camera is generating a lot of data. Or suppose you are having one sensor, temperature sensors in your garden, which is recording the temperature, daily temperature. So daily it is generating some data. So, and that data, where it is stored, that data is going to stored in a computer system. And then you, one day when you will, suppose you wants to get the data of 30 days temperature data, 30 days or 40 days, and after collecting these days of data, then you have to analyze that data. Because you want to drive some important conclusions from that data. Sometimes we are having, like as I told you, this example of sensor. So if it is used to capture the temperature information, so it will be attached with the computers, and you are on a hour basis or a half hour basis, 1 hour basis, 2 hour basis, it will be sending the data to the computers, and that data will be going to store in the computer. And you can use data by using any of the file format. So later you will be reading that file and you can analyze the data. Next one is data analysis. The data you have got, or you are having a tons of statistical data which you want to analyze, it is possible using specially designed algorithms that are implemented by computers. So if you are having a tons of statistical data, how you can analyze it? How is it possible? By designing an algorithm which will be implemented by your computers, which makes extremely time consuming job of data analysis to be a matter of a few minutes. So the extreme time consuming job of data analysis will become a matter of few minutes or few seconds. Like in genetic engineering, computers have made the sequencing of entire human genome possible. Data from different sources can be stored and accessed via computer networks set up in research labs. So you are having, suppose you are getting a data from various sources. So with the help of computer network, you can store that data in some kind of research lab or in a particular system. So from various sources you can also store, and you can analyze by designing some algorithm or by using the developed algorithms. So you can analyze that data. Scientific simulations. So you might be very familiar with this term, simulations. The engineering scholars might be very familiar with this. I will just give a very short definition of this simulation is that the real world environment, in simulations you use to create a virtual environment in your systems which is comparable to your real environment. The real environment scenarios and circumstances you create within your computer, that is known as virtual environment. Suppose you have developed something which will work in your environmental conditions, or you can see a fighter plane. We used to hear that fighter plane will be able to hit a target up to 2 kilometers or 3 kilometers. How it is possible? So they used to create a virtual environment in a computer. Then they will be setting angle, or they will be making some prototype for that, and first they will simulate that how much power is needed, how much height is needed, whatever be the parameters are there for that work. So they will be setting those parameters, and then they will analyze it, and then they will design the actual product. After that they will design, after doing the simulations on computer, then they will design the actual product. It is also the simulation is also known as a mathematical modeling of a problem and a virtual study of its possible solutions. Instrumentation control. Sorry. So instrumentation controls are, you will be controlling the instruments by your computer. Some most advanced scientific instruments come with their own on-board computer, which can be programmed to execute various functions. For example, Hubble spacecraft has its own on-board computer system which is remotely programmed to probe the deep space, and instrumentation control is one of the most important applications of computer. So suppose you are having a on-board computers, and that computer is programmed to control that instrument, then computer is being having a whole control of that instrument. Then next one is knowledge sharing through internet. In the form of internet, computers have provided an entirely new way to share knowledge. On internet, you can share your knowledge. You can access the latest research papers that are made available for free on websites. Sharing on knowledge and collaboration through the internet has made international cooperation on scientific projects possible. So I have mentioned some platform here which are especially these you can say social network platform for researchers. like ResearchGate, Publons, with one, which is a project of Ministry of Education. It is recently in 2020 it is started. The Google Scholar and Microsoft Academic Search ID, and other are also there. So you can create your profile on these platforms. You can upload your publications there. So those papers or your publications will be available to the audience on the internet. So anyone can access your paper. Or if someone wants to collaborate with you, so he or she can see that what type of your research area in which you are working, so they can get collaborate with you. You can ask the questions on ResearchGate. Suppose you are facing some problem in your research, so you can post your question there. Suppose how to do the data analysis using SPSS software. You don't have idea that how you should use this SPSS software for data analysis. So you can ask this on ResearchGate. The people have knowledge about this. Definitely they will post some answers there. You will get very good network there. What happen actually, suppose we are doing research in here in Tigran University, so we are not having the access of some top journals, like we don't have a full access of IEEE or some other platforms. So some paper is published there and you are not able to download that paper. So you have searched that paper that this is available on ResearchGate and someone has published it, but due to some reason he haven't uploaded a file of it. So you can request him. You can request for full text. You will be requesting, he or she definitely will send you in a private way or a public way. Like these are the very good platforms to share your research, to share your knowledge through internet. This Google Scholar plays very important role in research. The other tool I will demonstrate in tomorrow lecture, that is Zotero. That is for Zotero, Google Search, this Google Scholar is very helpful, very, very helpful. You just simply type Google Scholar and just open Google Scholar on your browser and type the like some topic you type there. Suppose you want to search paper on machine learning, so you can type machine learning in healthcare or machine learning in machine learning in some other also. So you will get relevant paper there in research in Google Scholar. Publon is very good. You can upload your publications there, and after sometimes you will also become a reviewer of some journals. So this Publon also used to give the recognitions of those review also. You will upload your data on this Publon website, and after uploading you can download your CV from there. The research CV will you will get. The Publon will create your CV also in the form of charts. How much citations you have, how much paper you have reviewed, or how many of your you have, how many paper you have published, what is your H index, what is your I10 index. So all these information you will get from there. These are very good. Then tools and applications used in research process. The tools, computer tools you can use for your research are Statistical analysis tools like SPSS, sigma plot. SPSS is very good for doing some statistical analysis, regression analysis, and other kind of thing. Regression analysis you can do, you can check your like you want to apply some chi-square test or ANOVA test, so you can use this SPSS. Sigma plot is there. Similarly, sigma plot is there. And for data analysis tools, you can use spreadsheet packages like MS Excel. And for word processor packages, you can use MS Word. For presentation software, you can use MS PowerPoint. And for database management packages, you can use Oracle, MS SQL, etc. Browsers, you can use Microsoft Edge, Mozilla Firefox, or Chrome to access the internet to search the research papers. All these kind of things you can do. Then this is your SPSS tool. So these I will discuss in tomorrow lecture. I will show you one demonstration of one tool which I have mentioned here, Easy Fit. How you can, I will show you just a small example, how you can analyze your data. As I have told you that you can do this probability density functions, distributions you can plot. So this is a Easy Fit software. So you will be having a, suppose you will be having some values. I think minimum values are 5 values are required, minimum 5 values. Suppose you are having this type of data, this is a very small sample of the data. You will be having a 100 or 1000 values of data and you want to analyze that data. So a simple description about statistical descriptions, you can get a simple descriptions. From here, you will be going to analyze descriptive statistics here. So you will get a simple description of this data. The sample size is 10. Mean value is this, variance is this, standard deviation of these values is this, the minimum and the maximum value. This is a very simple description of this statistical data. Further, if you want to plot a distribution, probability distributions of this data, so you can go here, you have and go to the analyze, click on fit distribution. So you will see that this much of PDF functions are here which are fitted for this data. These some are not applicable on this data, therefore these are not, these are shown in red color. So above this, all these data, these functions are here which are applicable on this data. So a normal PDF you might have here, you can see this one in a bell shape. You can see here, this is sigma and mu, which are scale and location parameter of this function. So you can see the distribution of your values. Who are familiar with this PDF, so easily they will get this. And I hope you all have studied this in your statistical portion. So easily you can, this is a mathematical function actually. So if you want to draw these functions, you have to write a mathematical formulation for this function. But here it becomes a very easy task. In a few seconds we have draw this PDF functions. If data values are there, suppose we have taken a size sample size of 10. If sample size is more than 200, 300, or 400 or 500, then it will not take much time. Now you have plotted this distribution by using the normal function. Now you want to see whether uh, this distribution is perfect for this data or not. You can check the goodness of fit of these functions which are applicable on this data. So here simply you will be clicking on this normal function. So you can see in goodness of fit details, two functions are there, ks function and chi-square, sorry, Anderson function is there. These two functions, these two tests are there. These are tests actually. So how you will check? You will see if this function is applicable on this data. By using this ks test, you can get this. The hypothesis for this is not rejected, that's why it is written no. So usually we used to check on 5% significance level. So the value of this is critical value at 5% significance level. This should be greater than this statistic value of this test, and this critical value should be less than p value. If it is satisfying these two conditions, that you will see this hypothesis, it is not rejected. If yes is here, if your hypothesis is rejected, then it means this pdf functions is not good for this data. You have to opt the other function. So these tests are used to analyze this kind of things. I don't think any, because this is a very simple data. Yes, you can see here. Which function is this? Uniform function. So in uniform function, you can see yes is written here. Here, statistic value is not there in Anderson-Darling test. It is only there in KS test. So you can analyze here that at 5% significance level, this critical value is less than this. That's why this hypothesis is rejected. What is the condition is there? This critical value should be greater than this for this test. And for this test, these two conditions are there. This value should be greater than this and should be. So the value should be greater, this value, critical value should be greater than this statistical value here. So here one condition is only applicable. Here you will see two conditions are applicable. This critical value should be greater than this statistic value and less than p value. So these type of works you can do. You can see that if you are having a large number of data, so within a few minutes or within a minute, you can analyze that data. So that's it for today. The remaining content I will discuss tomorrow, in which I will discuss these tools, SPSS tools, spreadsheet, word processing, presentation software, database management, this. And then I will give the demonstration of two tools which are here, Zotero and Mendeley. So you can here you can learn how you can you can automatically arrange your references, because in a research managing a referencing is a big task. That is a confusing and a big task, very confusing and very time taken task. But by using these tools, we can do it easily. So tomorrow I will give a practical demonstration here, so you can learn these two tools. And if you have any query or any question, so you can mail me on my email ID, which you can note down from here. And tomorrow I will start my lecture approximately 3:15. Oh, sorry, approximately 10:15, because I have one lecture and then I will take this lecture.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Yes. Okay.
Uh, i- Dear students, if you have any query, you can type it in the chat box. Uh, there is an attendance link also. You can click that link and mark your attendance. Tomorrow class will be there at 10:15. So thank you very much, sir. I think there is no query from the student, and I'm
Okay, ma'am.
sure tomorrow they are going to learn lots of things. Today also they have learned lots of things, which is most important, because we all know that without using computers, PhD is not possible.
Yeah.
It's impossible. So there is no escape for this
Yes.
class, and definitely uh, they'll learn a lot tomorrow also, many things. And sir, one request is there, if you can
Yes.
also highlight a few websites where they can um, get the research papers which are actually paid, and they can get from these websites. So if possible, throw a light on those things also, like from where they can get books also, which
Okay,
actually they are. Yes.
I will search about it. If I
Yes.
will get, then I will definitely will show
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir, because these tricks are very much helpful and important for the research scholars.
you.
So,
Yes, yes.
thanks once again, sir. It was a
Okay,
very
okay.
nice lecture. So, students, we are ending the broadcast. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.